All right, so thanks for joining us for another Tuesdays at 2. Today we are talking about living room layouts and how to set them up. First things first, think about how you're going to be using the living room space. Will there be a TV that all seating options are able to see? Is there a fireplace you're gathering the space around? Is it large enough to break into multiple seating arrangements? Does it need to be able to function as a workspace, dining space, or anything other than living space? Understanding the function of your space is just as important as making it look good and is generally the best place to start. Next, you'll have to pay attention to what you're already working with. Do you have walls that have doors, openings, or windows? This will impact the size of furniture you can place in each section of the room. Are there radiators or other jut outs that will be in the way of things like the sofas and chairs? Knowing these limitations beforehand will make layout decisions easier. All of these things will be factors for your unique space, but the next layouts we'll go through can give you an idea of some basic foolproof setups. They may require sizing specifics and adding or removing more pieces to fit the space, but they're good jumping off points. So we will start with the symmetrical layout, and these slides will all be on our Instagram stories later. I know my face is kind of cutting off some of the slide. So for symmetrical living spaces, they involve laying out the furniture in almost a square. Think of two matching sofas as you see at the top there on the left-hand side. Two matching sofas across from one another, or a sofa with two accent chairs across the way. The one on the layout at the top on the right-hand side. This setup is more formal when you use the sofa set and a little more casual when you use the sofa with the chairs. It also works best with living spaces that don't include a TV, since the seating is facing one another rather than a wall. So you can also see some examples there at the bottom of either of the two layouts. We've got the two sofas and then the sofa with the two chairs. I also have a few more examples. So here's a few other spaces you can see either with a TV on one wall or also just a fireplace without a TV, with both kind of options with two sofas and or with the sofa and two chairs. The next layout is going to be the asymmetrical layout, which tends to lend the space to be a little bit more versatile. So in this setup, you use a sofa as an anchor for your seating, but you have several other seating types available in the room, such as a side chair, maybe an ottoman that doubles as a bench when needed, and a poof or other small accent chair in a corner that can be pulled in with larger groups of people. Usually in this setup, the sofa is facing the TV directly, and the other seating allows for game or movie night easily with friends. It's a little bit more of a casual vibe. So you can kind of see some examples here where there's a variety of seating options besides the sofa. And then I'll also give you a few more visuals here. Doesn't have to be confined within sort of a walled space, but open space works as well. Lots of ways to kind of play around with that. The next layout is going to be the living and work combo. So definitely something we're seeing much more of now that so many of us work from home is the need to have desks in various rooms of the house. A space that's large enough to accommodate something like a sectional, as you can see in the layout above, with desks can be a great multifunctional use of space. Even in smaller spaces that have the previous layouts we discussed, a desk is a great way to fill some unused wall space or even tucked away in a corner of a room. And I am getting a bug on my phone. Okay. So sorry about that. There was a bug crawling. So here's a few more examples you can kind of see with some of the sofas here on the walls can tuck a smaller desk next to the sofa to kind of maximize your space. And then the last one is the multiple conversations. So if your space is large enough, you can use furniture to divide the space into multiple cozier seating arrangements. You can put two sofas across from each other, two smaller sofas across from each other with a coffee table between on one end and a few accent chairs and a side table on the other. This allows for multiple little gathering spaces. One person can be reading in one area, while the kids are watching TV just on the other side. And I have a few more examples of that as well. So you can see these much more grand spaces, bigger rooms, can be divided into two kind of sections. So hopefully there were some helpful tips to keep in mind from these general living room layouts. Remember to be creative and lay out your furniture in a way that functions and works within your unique space. We'll, of course, post these slides to our Instagram page for reference, and we'll have the presentation saved to our YouTube channel as well. Thank you for joining again for our Tuesdays at 2, and be sure to tune in again next week, September 1st at 2 p.m. right here on our Instagram Live. Thanks.